Now, if you're considering starting a small business with laser engraving, you may have asked yourself, which is the easiest laser to use and which one should I choose for my business? Well, in today's video, we're going to talk about laser engraving and also give you an opportunity to take an advantage of a tremendous sale that's going on with Xtool where there are savings in excess of $1,600 today. And you're going to be able to choose from a wide variety of lasers that are going to be able to catapult your business. And the best thing of all is that they're all super easy to use. No technical skills required. Let's get right to it.
Now, Xtool's mid-year Mega Fest is going to give you a great opportunity to really get the best deal when it comes to a laser. And I also want to highlight something else. If you use our link and you use our code, you'll be able to get an additional discount on top of the sales that they have going on today. So that's just something to take advantage of as we go over this review. Now, which is the right laser for you? Well, I'm going to share with you that there are several lasers within the Xtool line, and we're going to actually start with the F series. The F series is my favorite line of lasers. And as we take a look at the Xtool F1, this is a great laser if you are looking to get into jewelry engraving. You could do coasters, you could do koozies. There's just so many different things that you can engrave with this laser. And the benefit of having this device is that it's going to allow you to have the ultimate in portability. If you are in an apartment and you don't have a dedicated space and you'd like to be able to start your business, if you are in a home and you'd like to start your business but don't have a large work area, then this is a laser that really is going to allow you to do this. And it's going to engrave on a lot of different materials. It's going to engrave on wood. It's going to engrave on also metals like gold, silver, stainless steel. And it just opens up a whole host of opportunities when it comes to engraving. And if you go on site, if you want to do a pop-up event or you have some type of farmer's market event, this is what I see most people, including us, taking with them to the small events because it's so small. So this is, again, I would say, one of the most popular lasers to pick up, and it's because of its flexibility and its versatility. The laser itself is going to give you great quality. It's incredibly fast, as you can see by the numbers here. And then also, it's going to give you that wide material support. So look at this, over 300 plus materials, including the portability. So let's say you want to go to the next level. There is another version, and you'll notice within here, I just wanted to highlight that there's two versions of the Xtool. There's an F1 and then there's an F1 Lite. The F1 Lite is a great laser, but I still recommend the F1 over the F1 Lite because it really gives you the ability to work with both metals and then also non-metal materials. As you start moving into the F1 Lite, it's not going to have that second laser, which is going to limit what you can do. So I would stick with the F1. Now, the other laser that I would recommend in the F series is going to be the F1 Ultra. And the F1 Ultra is, I would say, of the Xtool line is my favorite. This is the one that Nolda and I use the most. And we use it so much because it has a very large build area where you can engrave things. And even though the F1 can handle, let's say, for example, burning like a Yeti, a tumbler, any of those drinkwares, you could do the same thing here, but the scale of this is much larger. So as we go down, let's take a look at some of the options here. So, and by the way, this is relatively portable. I do know people who take this with them, but the power is very different. Notice right here, this is a 20-watt fiber and diode laser. And the other one that we saw was a 10-watt, right? So it's a 10 and a 2. So this is going to be, the way you think about it, power means less time. And because it has more power, it's going to be faster to engrave everything that you do on this device. A little bit larger, but you get a lot more flexibility. Notice the speed here. Massive, massive improvements in speed, but you still have, because you have that 20-watt fiber and that 20-watt diode laser, you have, again, 300 plus different materials that you can work through. Also, what I really like about this that the F1 doesn't have is that it also then has a 16 megapixel camera. Now, it features a lot of cool capabilities. One of the cool capabilities is if you can put all these products on their bed, and with one simple button, it's going to auto-align your images so that they all look the same. They also have this cool conveyor that as you put products on it, it will automatically align, and also these products will basically, the belt just moves the product from left to right, and you're able to get that automated production. This is again, this is in my home. This is my go-to product. I don't take this one out as often, but when I have, it works really well, and it's just super powerful because of the two lasers that it has. The other thing that this does that I'm not into, but there's a lot of people who are, is Challenger coins. So this is something that if you're into those Challenger coins, and Challenger coins are not just for military and law enforcement, but also there is sobriety coins that are being made with the F1 Ultra as well. And again, the powerful part of this laser is this. Check this out. These are all the type of materials you can work with. So you're going to be able to do the jewelry. You're going to be able to do bottle openers. You're going to be working with brass. You can work with silver. Notice plastic, right? So this is all your metals is what the fiber is going to do. And then the diode is going to work on organic materials. So now you're looking at wood, acrylic, leather, tons of leather patches. So if you'd like to be able to, let's say, open up a hat bar or work on hats, that's something you're going to be able to do. Any leather product you'll be able to work with. It will engrave glass, right? Now, when you work with the glass, it's going to require some assistance. There's going to be maybe some paint that you put on top of it, but you will be able to work with glass. You have rock, paper, rubber, and then you see some of the other things that you have right here. You can also, yeah, there's a thing about engraving food. I'm not into that, but that's something you can do. So this laser, again, is going to give you the most flexibility when it comes to portability, because it's still very portable, but it also is very powerful. And as you can see here, these are the coins I'm talking about. So the coins, and then having the ability to see what's on the bed because of the camera is super powerful. We actually use this a lot, especially when we're working with pens. We run a lot of pens on this, even though we can do it on the F1. Because of how many pens I can put here, the build plate is so big, we typically choose to go with the F1 Ultra. Now, the cool thing also about this time is every one of the lasers are on sale. So notice this. You can get anywhere from $400 to $1,000 off depending on the bundle that you pick up. So now let's go back into the menu and let's look at the next one. Now you have the S series. And the S series is a cool line. So the Xtool S1, we use the Xtool S1, and I'll share with you what areas we actually use it. We use the Xtool S1 to when we're working with larger pieces of wood. So while I can do, let's say, for example, a charcuterie board, both on the F1 Ultra and on the F1, if I'm working with a larger piece, and notice the actual dimensions here, I'm able to use this piece to be able to engrave larger items. For example, shot glasses. If we're working on shot glasses that we've painted with paint to engrave them, and where you have that frosted white text, I can get 48 shot glasses on here and work it through this device. Isn't that crazy? 48. So that's a lot. And also it has the ability to have a pass-through and engrave many things. So this, surprisingly, is going to be able to do a couple things. So you notice you have different machine powers. So you can have the same thing as the F1 Ultra. You can have even more powerful than the F1 Ultra. But then it also has a secondary head where you can actually put an IR laser. So this can actually take and engrave metal too. Now, one thing I'll warn you is you see this head right here? Because this is not what's considered a galvo, the head moves back and forth when it does the engraving. The F1 and the F1 Ultra are stationary, and the light source is redirected using these galvo mirrors to get the actual engraving done. So they're going to be a lot faster, but still, this is going to give you scale, and it's going to give you the ability to engrave many things. And you notice here's again that infrared module that I mentioned to you. So you could get the 2040 or larger watt, and then get the infrared, which is going to allow you to do metals as well. So really giving you a lot of flexibility when it comes to the entire engraving area. Now, one of the things that I'll highlight about this as well is that despite it looking so futuristic and having a lot of bells and whistles, one of the bells and whistles that it's missing strategically is the camera. So you won't have real-time camera viewing, or you won't be able to use a camera in order to do this. You'll be using the crosshairs when you go to alignment, and you can see the different lasers that you can just swap out. So it's very modular, and the size is really good too. So we're able to work quite a deal with this printer, especially with the expanded work area, right? So let's take a look at now moving from the S series, right? Let's go ahead, look at the M series, and then we're going to jump back up to the P. On the M series, the M1 Ultra is also a fine device. So who is the M1 Ultra for? So let's define your workplace. We've talked about the F series, portable, versatile, a lot of different materials, 2 laser types. We went into the actually S series, which also has 2 laser types, but it's for larger work areas and very similar materials across both. Now the M1 Ultra is a multi-purpose machine that can do a lot of more things than just engrave and cut material. It also has the ability to print. It's like literally, it has like, if you think about an inkjet printer, it kind of like has that capability to actually print. And this is also, there's a great deal right now, depending on how much you spend, you're going to get off. But let's take a look at some of the things or the options that you have. Now, the M1 Ultra is also very modular, as we talked about. So you have all these different laser types that are going to give you the ability to work on a lot of things. First of all, you basically can print and cut material. And when I say print, I literally mean you're printing ink on top of the material, so you get this type of experience. You're going to be able to print on wood, acrylic, and canvas. And you can use, even though it doesn't have an onboard camera, you can use your personal camera combined with the software to get more accurate views of what's going on inside of the machine. And this is what I was talking about. So here you have your diode laser for working with the actual material. Then you have your blade cutter, right, which is going to allow you to work with foil and vinyls. So if you are into vinyls, or even if you want to do shirts, which is also something that you would be able to do with this as well, because you can cut the shape of the heat transfers using the machine. And then what you have over here is your vivid colors, your inkjet, depending on what you're working on. And then you also have the ability to actually use the pens to do drawing itself. So if you have some things you want to draw out professionally, you can do that. So the M1 is if you think about a Cricut machine and you want to step up above a Cricut, this is the machine to go with. It's just, I think that's simple. All right, now the last in the laser series is the P series. And this, I would say, is probably going to be, I have in each class, I have a favorite. The P series, the Xtool P2, I'm a super fan of that machine. And so we have this machine, and really this machine is about cutting. It will do engrave. It will not do metal. It's actually a CO2 laser. So it's going to be a very powerful cutter. You can work on rotaries with this machine. So you could do a rotary, like a cup, or think about a Yeti. It's going to be able to do that, especially because it's CO2, and the CO2 doesn't really harm metal. So unlike the F1 Ultra or the S1, where it has that additional laser for metal, you can, with those machines, burn the metal. With the CO2, that's not possible. It just doesn't impact it the same way. So this will basically burn off material that is of organic nature, but then the metals it's not going to touch. And this is a dream to work with when it comes to acrylic as well. But you're going to be able to do charcuterie board engraving. You'll be able to do glass engraving. I've engraved glass on mine. You'll be able to do cutouts. There's just so much different things that you can do. And then again, you have the same great deal going on with the extra discount given my code as well. And if you had a choice between the P2 and the P2S, I'd go with the P2S. It has a slightly better exhaust system and other improvements that I really like about that they've included. And if we go down here for a second, you can see, again, 16 megapixel camera. So it does have an onboard camera. It has the pass-through capability, which means that you're going to be able to work with items up to 118 inches long. You also then have a big work area, which I take advantage all the time. This is something that we use quite often. And then it also has support for curved engraving. So this machine is just going to be a future-proof machine when it comes to capabilities, what you're going to be engraving, and what you're going to be creating. So when I think about the printers, or in this case, not the printers, but the lasers, again, let's just recap really quick your choices. Limited space, jewelry, you can do wood, you could do acrylic, but you're not going to be able to do some very large pieces, regardless of which one you choose, the Xtool F1 or the F1 Ultra. But these are both great for traveling, great for starting your small business. And then if you need to cut larger items, then the P2S is a great choice. That one's going to be more focused on larger items, but it does great with acrylic. Because it's a CO2, it can cut through any acrylic material and create things like we create wedding stirs for the drinks, quite often using the P2, and then we cut other items with the P2. I primarily use the P2 as a cutter, less as an engraver, more of a cutter. You then also then have the S series, which is kind of like in between, right before you get to the P2. Great solution as well. We use this quite often for some realtor signs that we create. And again, the flexibility here is the size and the fact that you can swap lasers. This is not a CO2 laser. This is a diode laser. We'll mention the M1, which is again like a very sophisticated, high-end, futuristic Cricut. So it can cut vinyl, it can lay foil, it can print with ink, and then also with pens. And it gives also a lot of flexibility. It's pretty tiny though from a print or an engraved bed perspective. So you have all these choices. Now the last product in their line is the Apparel machine, the Apparel printer. This is a marvel when it comes to the ability to create content that you can put on a shirt, anything that you're going to be putting on for sale. So as we take a look at this guy right here, this is brand new. So this hasn't even been released yet. You'll notice that there are no significant discounts, if any discounts at all, for this unit as it is, because it hasn't shipped yet and it's been on pre-order. But again, here you can see what the bundles are. If you want to do t-shirts, if you want to do shorts, if you want to do backpacks, purses, sun bags, this basically is going to print a piece of film that can be used then to secure over a shirt, and basically that shirt would be printed with the bank or whatever information you would like to have on there, depending on, again, what your role is. So if you're looking to print, let's say for a corporate bank, you could create corporate uniforms or just promotional items. If you're going to be working with a local school for a, let's say, sports event, you could do that as well. So a lot of options here. And don't forget that you can get a discount with our code as well. So those are all your choices, guys, when it comes to machines, and all of them are relatively affordable when it comes to the value that you're going to be able to get out of them. I spoke to some individuals that have some of these lasers, and we were just sharing the type of work that's being done. And with anywhere from 3 to 6 jobs, you could pay off these lasers if they're at the right scale. Now, why I would recommend the Xtool line of lasers as one of the most easiest to use is due to how they've implemented their software. And I just want to show you how cool and easy this is. So this is what the software looks like. All you do is you go into the software and you choose the laser type that you're working with. And if I go here for a second, you'll notice several of the lasers that we were talking about that I have in my possession and that I use. And let's say right here you're working with the F1 or any of the other lasers, and you'd like to be able to work on specific material. First of all you do is you go into this list and you can find a list of material and the settings necessary to engrave those. So for example, if you're going to be engraving on wood, right? So I can confirm that that's the material that I'm going to be using. All I have to do is type the actual, what I'd like to have here. So let's say, for example, I'm looking for the word hello. I can choose that I want to be engraved. And then notice what shows up right here. These are all of the settings that I need in order to engrave the word hello. I just choose the setting that I want based on the darkness I see. So if I want it to be this light, I choose this one. If I want it to be this dark, I choose this one. And then once that's chosen, the word hello will basically engrave in wood as I saw it here. So let's say you're not working with wood. We'll go back in here and say, I want to work with silver, stainless steel. And I choose confirm. Notice what happens here. Immediately, it's giving me choices. So if I want the word hello to be able to be in this color, which is like a multicolor, all I have to do is choose that. One of the things I could also do is say, you know what? I want it to be with a different color laser. You know, what choices do I have? So as you choose different lasers, so if I choose IR, for example, which is the second laser, now all of a sudden I can say, hey, if I want this to engrave on metal black, I choose this, and the settings have already been configured for me. That's why this is so simple and easy to use. This should be very low intimidation factor when it comes to complexity in using lasers. Let's take a look at another product. Let's say, for example, I want to go ahead and I want to work with, let's say, a tumbler. What I can do, and notice all the products here. All you do is you choose the product that you'd like to be able to work on, and then it will give you the settings. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into more materials, And you notice here, there's a lot of things. I can choose my laser that I'm working with. I can choose material types and other laser types that they have here. So let's say, for example, I would like to work on a 20 ounce tumbler. Let's see if it shows up. We'll go ahead 20. And so we have pens, right, that you can choose, but then look at, here's a tumbler. So I want to be able to work on this tumbler, and notice they're in different colors. So I'll go ahead and choose this tumbler. And here it's going to tell me based on the laser that I'm working on, right? And the settings that I need to work with, these are the power settings that I'll need. And again, if I change this to engrave, watch how the image is going to change and say, these are the settings that you need in order to be able to get the specific effect. Power is 85 and speed is 200 millimeters per second. So Xtool makes it really simple. It can't be simpler than that to be able to work a laser. All you have to do is choose the material you're going to engrave. Type, choose what you want it to say, and then connect your laser and hit engrave. It's that simple. And there's a lot of references. So if you, for example, you need inspiration, there are tons of projects. Look at all these projects. And all these projects are listed by laser type that you can choose. And it's by event. So notice that there is a lot of stuff from Easter, because Easter just passed. Father's Day, Memorial Day, Mother's Day. All of these projects are there where you can get inspiration. If you want to be able to work on a business card, look at this, and have with a QR code. There are free projects and there are paid projects on here. If you want to work with these coins, look at this. Here you have the coins as well. It's going to help you set it up based on the laser. If you want to work with color, this is pretty unique right here. And notice how it's telling me that this is done on the F1 Ultra. So not only is the software going to empower you to do what you like to do, but the software is going to inspire you to do even more.
So guys, that wraps up our review. The next one.